All right, back here with Capt Marty. You're going to hear another one of his great stories. Now, Capt, I got a question for you, okay? And I know that you are a fan of sport fishing. You know, you like that sport of fishing. You know, you've been a sport fisherman for years and years and years. But what about other sports like football, baseball, tiddlywinks, stuff like that? Like, is there any other sports that you're really into? I know NASCAR is one of them.
Well, NASCAR it was really the big one because I worked at the Speedway at Daytona. I'm from the Daytona Beach area. And I really, I was telling somebody the other day that I've been on some of the 3 biggest historical moments in NASCAR history. I was at all 3 of them. But that's another story for another day. But I did, when I got up here to Oregon Inlet, you know, I didn't know anything about, I've been to a couple NBA games. That's it. Never been to an NFL game. Never been to a hockey game.
Okay.
But I met the Philadelphia Flyers when I was a mate working on the Sundancer. And I got a story about my first hockey game with them. I'll come back and tell you that in just a moment. Are you ready for a fishing thrill like no other?
Oh, there he is! There he is! Oh, got him up!
As seen on Wikitoon Outer Banks, the Carolina Girl, captained by majestic Jesse Anderson, is a custom, luxurious, 53-foot Jarrett Bay built boat running out of Hatteras Harbor Marina. Let Jesse and her crew give you a fishing experience of a lifetime. To book a trip, go online to CarolinaGirlSportFishing.com. Carolina Girls Sport Fishing, your offshore adventure awaits.
Teach's Lair Marina in Hatteras Village is the closest spot on the Outer Banks to the Gulf Stream. Just inside Hatteras Inlet, Teach's Lair is fully loaded with bait, tackle, ice, snacks, and drinks for your fun-filled day out on the water. Want to get rigged up to catch the big one? Lee and the gang in the tackle shop can outfit you to catch whatever is eager to get hooked. To see the marina, the tackle shop, or to book a charter, go online to teacheslair.com. Teach's Lair Marina in Hatteras Village. Your fishing venture awaits.
So keep in mind, to a Florida boy in the 70s, hockey was a foreign word.
Yeah,
there was no, and now they got either 2 or 3 NHL teams in Florida. They've won the Stanley Cup down there. I've watched some of that on TV. But I was out fishing one day as a mate on the Sundancer with Nevin, and we had a group of really nice guys. There's 4 or 5 of them. Had a young guy with them that was like 16 or 17 years old, and an old guy. And, you know, like you do, towards the end of the day, I said, what do you guys, I asked the young guy, because me and him were about the same age. I said, what do these guys do for a living? He says, they're with the Flyers organization. And I said, what is that? Is that basketball?
It sounds like it would be basketball. Yeah, Flyers.
He said, no, it's a hockey, the NHL hockey team. And I went, oh. And I did not realize that 3 of the people in the cockpit that day were Hall of Famers. And Bobby Clark, Bernie Perrant, Paul Holmgren was their enforcer, their thug.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but that's what it was in the 70s.
Yeah.
The owner of the team was there with them. And then the young guy was the Snyder that went on to become the owner of the Washington Redskins that caused so much. So his uncle was also a Snyder. He owned the Flyers.
Okay.
Anyway, really nice guys. They fished with us 2 days, and we caught a blue marlin that to this day, they had it mounted with the taxidermist in the Flyers clubhouse to this day.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I kept up with Paul Holmgren through the years every once in a while. But that first time, that first year, he said, look, when it gets to be fall, you guys got to come to a hockey game. We're like, okay, we'll come. He said, you're going to have to go to D.C. because even as our guests, we can't get you a ticket in Philly at the Spectrum. So I said, okay, so what do we do? He said, just such and such a day, we're playing Washington. We hate them. It's always a big rivalry. He said, go to the will call window and we'll leave 6 tickets for you. To me, Steve Daniels, Kenny Pecker, Chuck Mosley, I'm forgetting, Gary Myers, a whole group of us young mates piled in the car, went the DC road trip, went to the zoo.
Nice.
Isn't it called the Smithsonian Zoo or anyway, the National Zoo.
Right.
And because it was something to do until game time. Had a nice hotel room. So I'd never been to a hockey game, as I said, I'm from Florida. So Gary Myers had been to lots of hockey games. He says, oh, you're going to love it. I said, you think they'll fight? And he said, no, not this year. The Flyers are finesse. They're playing finesse hockey. The guy I mentioned, Paul Holmgren, their enforcer, he was something else. But we hadn't even gone in the door of this place yet, and I was about to pop. But you won't believe what happened once we got inside. I'll be back to tell you that in just a minute.
At the south end of Roanoke Island, in a quiet little village, lies a marina known for having one of the finest fishing fleets on the Outer Banks. Whether it be an offshore excursion, a nearshore charter, or headboat fishing, Wanchese Marina is where to go. Wanchese Marina is a full-service marina, complete with a fueling dock, bait, tackle, ice, and the landing grill restaurant. All of this is just a few minutes from some of the finest fishing spots around. Book online at wanchesemarina.com. Wanchese Marina, 4457 Mill Landing Road, Wanchese.
So we got our tickets. I couldn't believe they were waiting for us at the Will Call window. We were
That's cool, man.
Now, this is an away game for them. We did not know that the last time they played, they had a bench clearing brawl, and you had to suspend the game. And this game, we didn't know, but this game was carrying over some of the bad blood. We didn't know that at first. And when we picked up our tickets, there was a note on the tickets that said, meet us at where the Zamboni goes off the ice. I'm like, what is a Zamboni? You know?
Yeah.
I had no idea what is that a sandwich or what is
Sounds like a sandwich. Sounds like a nice Italian sub. Something. How you doing?
And really, the rest of the crew, they didn't know anything either. Only Gary Myers knew about that. We got in, went to our assigned seats, and they were about halfway up in one of the corners, which is pretty good. You know, and they weren't all that high up, about 12, 15 rows up in one of the corners. Plenty good. I was so excited. We were 2 hours early. So as it got getting closer and closer to game time, now we were having a few beers, you know, the big stadium beers.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And this group of 5 girls came in, and they sat right in the seats, right directly in front of us. All of them unattached, painted up, pretty as anything you ever saw, Justin.
Okay.
And man, us being mates from Oregon, it wasn't long when we were trying to buy them a beer, which they refused. We were begging them to go out clubbing with us after the game. We were telling them, you got to show us around. Here's where our hotel. I mean, we were just totally tried everything, and we're getting nowhere.
Okay.
So the game, it's game time. They've warmed up. I'm really excited. I see Paul Holmgren down there dressed up now as a hockey player. Bobby Clark, Hall of Famer. Bernie Perrant, the goalie, Hall of Famer. You know, I'm like, oh, this is fun. So anyway, the game goes on, and within 7 seconds into the opening whistle, 7 seconds, Paul Holmgren had a grudge with one of the Capitals.
Yep.
So the two of them started. As soon as they did, both benches emptied again. 7 seconds into the game.
Holy smokes!
And I mean, it was almost 30 minutes before they cleared the ice. There was blood on the ice. I mean,
Lord!
I got a picture in my photo album of Paul Holmgren sitting on a guy and just punching him in the face.
Nice.
You know, whoever. Yeah, and then people trying to drag him off, and he got thrown out of the game. The guy we came to see, 7 seconds in the game, he was ejected. Had to leave and go to the locker room. So we were really like, wow. I thought you said they weren't going to fight, Gary. And Gary's like, I guess they're not as finesse as they claim. But anyway, the girls, they were cheering and going like crazy. Everybody, there were people fighting in the stands, you know, because the Philadelphia crowd would go to D.C. just to stir up trouble in the stands. So the whole thing was a lot. Only till it used to say a lot to hoist aboard.
Yes, sounds like it.
Anyway, the game ended up in a tie, and they had to do a overtime. And Bobby Clark scored a goal and won the game in overtime. This is the same guy that caught the 427-pound blue marlin that's in their clubhouse to this day. So it was great. And at that point, we said our goodbyes. We tried one last time to hook up with the girls. They said, no, we got to go. We thanked them. We didn't do anything uncalled for.
Of course, yeah.
So we go down to where the Zambonis went off the ice. The crowd's clearing out. And Paul Holmgren's standing there already inside the glass, dressed in, got his coat, his tie. He's had the whole game to get a shower. He only played 7 seconds, you know, because he got kicked. And we thought we were going to shake hands and say hello. He said, come on in. The boys want to see you. We got to go in the locker room after this heck of a game that they'd won. Bobby Clark was sitting there on a training table, and the trainer was cutting his eye where a puck had cut him pretty bad. And the way they stitched him up is they used like a little pie cutter. They make a clean slice, and they'd stitch him up with no Novocaine. You know, and sports writers were gathered around him, and he was telling about that overtime goal. And Paul Holmgren shoved them out of the way and said, look who's here. It's the boys from Oregon Inlet. And Bobby Clark stopped his interview, Said, hey guys, I'm so glad you could make it. Just made me feel like $1 million. He said, how'd you like your first hockey game? We said, we loved it. We loved it. Congratulations. He said, good, good. He said, did you meet our wives? And we're like, what do you mean? He said, they were sitting right in front of me.
Oh my Lord, Marty. No, they weren't. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And we're like, oh, yes, we met them.
Wow.
We've been hitting on their wives with these guys that just beat the pulp out of each other out there on the ice.
Oh, so my Lord.
That was an experience. When my life was over, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And it's page 1 of my Philadelphia Flyer relationship I had for many years.